Calafiori. Calafiori. Calafiori.
Calafiori.
Calafiori. Calafiori. Calafiori.
Calafiori.
Riccardo Calafiori, welcome to the Arsenal. एक महीने के बाद finally Arsenal have announced their first signing of the summer, darling of the Euros, star of Italy, player coveted by Juve, Chelsea and so many clubs, finally joins Arsenal. Exciting times to be an Arsenal fan, not gonna lie. He had a fantastic season with Bologna last season, and Euros mein to with Italy you would have seen him obviously, so it's safe to say that Arsenal have actually bagged a bargain, है ना? But who's Calafiori? आइए जानते हैं. Born in Rome, he was a product of the Roma Academy. He signed the first contract with them on 16th June 2018, and almost a few months later, I think in October, on 2nd October to be precise, he suffered a career-ending injury in a UEFA Youth League contest basically. And वो injury इतना serious था कि जब एडिन जेको ने चैंपियंस लीग हैट्रिक एक मारा था for the senior squad, he dedicated it to the 16-year-old holding his shirt after the game as if to basically underscore the precariousness of the situation. But testament to his mental strength there, and there are very few who have the will and the desire to get back on the pitch so soon after such a serious and horrible and horrific injury. He made his league debut as a 18-year-old left wing back against Juve in a 3-1 win on 1st August 2020. During the match, उसने एक penalty भी जीता and also scored a goal which was later chalked off. The following season, 3rd December 2020, Calafiori was brought on by Roma coach Paulo Fonseca as Spinazzola's substitute and scored his first professional goal in Roma's home win against Young Boys in the UEFA Europa League. Then आता है Jose Mourinho the next season, appointed as the Roma's manager for 2 to 3 years. कुछ ही दिन बाद उसने Instagram पे एक रील उसने रिलीज किया था जिसमें it can be seen that he had been watching and keeping tabs on Riccardo Calafiori, watching clips on Scout basically. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. In October later that season, when Roma were playing a Conference League game against Bodo Glimt, Mourinho lost that game against Bodo Glimt 6-1. After managing 1,000+ matches in his career, it was the first time that a Mourinho side had conceded 6 or more goals in a single contest. The starting left back for Roma that game, Riccardo Calafiori. Yeah, मैंने highlights देखा वो game का just to see why he struggled in that game, and turns out it was because they were trying to play a high offside line and it didn't work out simply. इसके बाद January में in the winter transfer window, he was shipped off on loan to Genoa. And in that same window, Ainsley Maitland-Niles joined Roma from Arsenal on loan. Roma went on to lift the Conference League trophy that season, and unfortunately Calafiori was not present with his Roma teammates to lift the European silverware. Genoa loan didn't work out basically, and it led Roma to sell the defender to FC Basel, and it was in Switzerland that his fortunes really turned. One season at Basel, 38 odd appearances, he was back at Italy under Thiago Motta, helping Bologna earn their first Champions League appearance since 1964, playing a key role in a team that surrendered only 32 goals in 38 matches. Latest individual honors may I think he won the Serie A Player of the Month award in May 2024. So now the question is, why Calafiori? Why did Arsenal go for Calafiori? Before I answer this question, let me just quickly tell you the current scene kya hai at Arsenal. Ben White was purchased as a centre back and later remolded into a right back. Tomiyasu can play almost literally anywhere across the back line, है ना? Same for Timber. Kiwior, same left back, left centre back. Declan Rice, is he a 6, is he a 8? Again, more than one position. Gabriel Jesus, not your traditional striker. He drops deeper than your traditional forward. ये सब चीज में what's common here? What's common is you'd really want somebody to be comfortable in at least more than one position, ideally 2 or 3 spots. When you think of these kind of players under the Mikelka system, you can deploy them in multiple areas. So that's risk-proofing your investment. Arsenal lost the league to Man City last season by a mere 2 to 3 points. One of the primary contributing factors to that was कि हम लोग left वाला flank इतना use नहीं कर रहे थे. तो all our attacks, all our build-up play was only from the right, Ben White, Odegaard and Saka. So because हम लोग वो left वाला flank use नहीं कर रहे थे, which is why Martinelli was not on his best and did not produce a good season by his standards. There was a lack of a left back who was capable of overlapping, and the right-footed midfielders that basically occupy कर रहे थे वो half space was not working out. So what did Arsenal need this season? Priority क्या था? The priority is where left-footed होना चाहिए, can start at left back against any height of block, tenacious but controlled, can counter press effectively and can also handle the press. Somebody who can make an immediate impact, tidy interplay with the left winger, can underlap or hold width on left. And Calafiori basically ticks most, if not all, of these boxes. As a player, he gets his motivation and his inspiration from John Stones, and he models himself after John Stones. He said his style of play is closest to mine. Stones is my reference. At Roma, he was often used wide and high as an attacking left back. When he moved to Basel, he was initially in more of a hybrid role. First half of the season at Basel, वो left back पे start कर रहा था, and at the second half of the season, he moved to a back three on the left hand side. LCB in a back three. ये एक example है of Calafiori up in the midfield. You can see साथ में Christensen है, he's floating behind to cover. ये duo के पास ना अभी 3 possible zones हैं to float into, but the back one must always be filled. And ये day पे Calafiori went 105 out of 117 passes, 90% passing on that day, and Bologna won 4-2. आप उसको Italian left side का Ben White बोल सकते हो, because there are a lot of similarities. When Akanji or White invert करते हैं into midfield, you get the feeling कि smart players हैं, they are doing smart things while adapting into a new role. But when Calafiori inverts ना, आपको लगता है कि बहुत natural है, and you might think कि भाई he might just be an actual midfielder. So this is actually where the Stones references come in. ये एक overview है of his season when compared to the other centre backs in Serie A. You'll see a high number of ball recoveries, 99th percentile में है, and he averaged almost 7.5 के आसपास goals after everything, and dispossessions ज़्यादा रिस्क लेता है, वो आगे जाके खेलता है. When he tries to make a risky forward pass, तो वहाँ पे 1-2 बारी उसका ball position छूट जाता है उससे. As a player ना, he is very confident of his positional sense and instincts, and he inherently trusts his teammates to be on his wavelength, है ना. डीप बिल्डअप है ना, वो बहुत काम है, बहुत कंफर्टेबल है ऑन द बॉल, बिल्कुल अनफ्लस्टर्ड. कभी कभी तो ऐसा है कि ही इज इवन टू एंग्शियस टू गेट द बॉल, एंड इन ऑल फेजेस. कभी कभी ज्यादा कर लेता है, बट आई कैन लिव विद दैट. जस्ट लाइक गैब्रियल, उसका एंटिसिपेशन ना सॉलिड है, 10 on 10 है, एंड ही टाइम्स हिज लिटिल पुशेस एट द राइट मोमेंट. तो विच इज वाई आई थिंक कि उसका वन ऑफ द बेस्ट क्वालिटीज है उसका काउंटर प्रेसिंग, which is why he's one of the best players I've seen who's so good at driving forward and aggressively retrieving the ball or winning back the ball after a loss. If you compare him with Arsenal के defenders, especially Tomiyasu and Timber, Calafiori कुछ थोड़ा ज़्यादा ऑफर करता है. The ability to underlap, जाका वाला कट याद है, अच्छा क्रॉस भी करता है. He can cross the ball well. मार्टिनेली को ये 1-2s वगैरह बहुत पसंद है, and Calafiori would offer him all the options and angles basically. Another one of his strongest suits I would say is his blasting forward on the carry. And ये last पूरा season ना, ये ऐसे instances बहुत हैं, ये power runs basically बहुत हैं, and he's so comfortable on a high line as well. The only challenge आप बोल सकते हो कि can he handle a speedster like Kylian Mbappe या somebody else, yet to be seen. But मुझे लगता है कि he's faster than Ben White, and I love Ben White by the way. If he has Gabriel, जो कि is one of the best 1v1 defenders in the game, I think he should be alright. But what does this mean for Jakub Kiwior? I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard about Calafiori links, I was like कि do we really need him? We already have Jakub Kiwior, same profile के हैं. But जब मैंने उसको देखा, उसका बोलोने का कुछ performances वगैरह, I got to know what the hype was all about. Kiwior is more of a defensive वाला LCB. उसके खुद के अपने strengths हैं, and he obviously has his own set of weaknesses as well. Ball distribution obviously is not his strongest suit. Overlap करना, underlap करना is definitely not his preferred position. Here's a comparison between Calafiori and Kiwior in the Euros का. You see, दोनों ने 3 मैच खेला, मिनट्स प्लेड सेम है, बॉल्स रिकवर्ड 24:18 है, पासिंग एक्यूरेसी 93-85 है, बट दिस इज वेयर द डिफरेंस लाइज. इफ यू सी कैलाफ्यूरी को ना, उसको बॉल हमेशा चाहिए. ही ऑलवेज लुक्स फॉर द बॉल, ही आस्क्स फॉर द बॉल. वो प्रेस करके बॉल छीनता है एंड वो बॉल लेके आगे जाता है, which leads to a lot of build-up play. If you see here, lot of short passes attempted, medium passes, long passes, सब में attempt में भी, passes to the left, passes to the right, in all departments he beats Kiwior. Remember in the Champions League when we were facing Bayern Munich and there was a 1v1 moment with Leroy Sané against Jakub Kiwior. And he turned him basically and he got through. तो अगर वो वाला पोजीशन में had there been Calafiori, वो साने को जाने नहीं देता because that's his bread and butter. So what does this mean to our starting lineup? Does he start? क्या वो स्टार्ट कर पाएगा? What happens to Timber? What happens to White? कहाँ खेलेगा Timber? Calafiori कहाँ पे स्टार्ट करेगा? Is he a backup to Gabriel? मेरे हिसाब से सलीबा एंड गेब्रियल ये पार्टनरशिप को नहीं ब्रेक करना चाहिए. They should absolutely hold the fort on their own at the back. उनके थोड़ा आगे Calafiori, Rice and White would man the middle, squeezing the play and keeping counters from getting out, and front foot aggression is almost always rewarded. My only two concerns for Calafiori is कि कितना जल्दी वो adapt कर पाएगा to the Premier League, because coming from a different league is almost never that easy, and instantly making an impact from the word get go, वो उसको टाइम लग सकता है शायद, and we hope कि ना लगे, but that's basically something we have to wait and see. The second concern which I have for Calafiori is his injury concerns. So ये है उसका injury history. So if you can see, the first wala was his major injuries, and then few hamstrings here and there, and 22-23 में एक उसका he had a torn muscle fiber, उसके बाद some minor knocks here and there. So pros and cons तो definitely हैं, but am I happy? Yes. Was he what Arsenal needed? Yes. Should Arsenal go for more signings? Yes. I think if Arsenal go for Mikel Merino, and तो फिर ये left वाला side हम लोग का is completely sorted. Calafiori, Merino and Martinelli या फिर / Trossard. That is sorted. Whether we sign a number 9 or not, that is yet to be seen. But तब तक के लिए guys, मिलते हैं soon in the next video. Come on you gunners. So now we have 4 left-footed centre backs and 4 right-footed centre backs. Right पे हैं Saliba, Ben White, Tomiyasu and Timber, and left वाले हैं Zinchenko, Kiwior, Calafiori and Gabriel. Can somebody breach it? Can somebody breach this now? Can somebody score a goal against us now? Chelsea's 04-05 वाला season of conceding only 15 odd goals, ये रिकॉर्ड अभी हम तोड़ने वाला है.